Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to our next writing lesson. I have added a new tip to our writing poster
Familiar with, which is labeling to teach. I know that the students of Room 5 have been working on this in the classroom when we were doing narrative. Labeling people with beginning and ending letters and sounds that we know. What I challenge you to do with these pictures is when you've made a picture for each step, you go back into each picture and you label the words that teach. Notice they wrote one big circle so that you know that's really important. 2 dots, color it yellow. Maybe they wrote mouth. Maybe you could write something like make a curved line. There's all kinds of details you could add to your step
with how to make a pizza.
First, next, then, last. And we've also talked about telling a story across our fingers when we're writing. And these are keywords that we use a lot when we write narratives, also when we write how-to books. But we're going to use first, next, then, last as a transition when we edit our work towards a how-to book. So we're going to think about making a pizza and what we're going to do. So we know that we're going to use the words that we've been practicing, these transition words, first, next, then, last, or finally, which is a fancy way to end our story. And these are some words I came up with that I might need when writing a story, a how-to book about how to make a pizza. I know that there's a Room 5 friend who did that with me this week, and I learned a lot about pizza. So I hope you like this book. So the words are pizza, dough, rolling pin, sauce, cheese, pepperoni, cutter, and eat. And I brainstormed these words and I looked them up and I thought about how to sound them out using alphabet charts and what I know about words. And if you cannot look them up or talk to a grown-up, I want you to sound them out even if you spell them wrong. But you can always use this guide that will come on your exercise today. So I'm going to start with first. And you can even act this out when you get your... What do you do first when you make a pizza? Well, pictures help me learn. So I'm going to add my picture first. And this is a picture of dough getting rolled out with a rolling pin to make a pizza. And this is the beginning of my story. And now I'm ready to go on to the next part, which is the word next. Next, I drew a picture of what I need to add to my pizza. And I know after dough, I add sauce. And then I add cheese. And if you're someone like me who likes pepperoni, that goes on last. My next word is then. And my picture is my completed cooked pizza. And now I'm going to add a new word, cutter, which is the tool I use to cut pizza. If I want to use the action word, the verb cut, I'm only going to write it like that. Cut. I know there's 3 sounds. I cut the pizza. And I wonder what the last part's going to be. Last, eat, which I know is a lot of our favorite parts. And if you really want to get fancy, you can use the word finally for a more advanced ending word. So here's my completed storyboard that I made. First, I had dough and used a rolling pin to flatten out the pizza. Next, I added sauce and cheese and pepperoni. And then when it was when it was finished cooking, I took out the cutter and cut slices. Last, I ate the pizza, or I eat the pizza with my friends. Or finally, I eat the pizza. Now I'm going to turn this into some writing using the other graphic organizers. Hi friends, so I'm here in my writing corner and I have a comfortable place to work and I have my writing information up here so I remember the steps. This is my storyboard to remind me what to do next. And I started out with my sequence assignment where I colored all the pictures on the bottom, which look a lot like the storyboard. They also have numbers on the paper. So I'm going to cut out and glue those on first, and then I'm going to use the storyboard and the writing bank of words that we brainstormed to try to write some sentences. Come join me.
Alrighty, ready? Here we go.
Now that I've done doing my storyboard, I'm going to start using the words from my pictures and my storyboard to write out some sentences. I know that I'm going to use first because that's on my storyboard. And I can look at my storyboard while I'm writing on the floor. All right, so I'm looking at my storyboard and I know that the word is first because it's right there in front of me. And I also have the words dough, rolling pin, and pizza. And I also have the words on the word bank right next to me that I can look at. So I'm going to start with first, and I know it's in uppercase because it's the beginning of a sentence. I'm going to try to bump the line as I write. First, and then I write a finger space. I make dough. I know that, or the person I'm teaching, first, make dough is what you have to tell someone. Make dough. I'm going to sound that out. A. Oh, I know that's a long A. I remember practicing that in phonics. Make. That sounds like a K to me, and I know that long A has to have a magic E at the end. So I sounded that out. And I'm running out of space. I'm going to go to the next line, and I know the word dough is over there because I've already sounded it out. And it's actually right here on my list, so I can look at it. Oh, it even has some dangle letters. I'm going to make sure I really make them dangle. Okay, first make dough. And use a rolling pin because I know that was one of my rules, one of my steps. Use, yeah. Kind of sounds like Y, but I know it is a U. So I'm going to sound out rolling pin. Yeah. Ooze. You might sound it out differently than I do, and that's okay. Use A. I don't know how to spell that. That's easy. Finger space. Rolling pin is also on my little word bank and on my storyboard. So I have two places to look at it. And I know that rolling pin has tall, small, and dangle, and it has a finger space because it's two words. Rolling pin. Use a rolling pin. I know I have to put a period at the end of my sentence. Now I'm going to go on to my next step, and of course that's the word next. Now you can go on to the next part on your own. So reviewing how-to books, one of the key important parts of a how-to book is to make sure that you have steps in your book. And so here's a way to edit our storyboard so we can add that extra layer. More step cards, and I'm going to add them in place of my first, next, then last. Come with me and I'll show you. So I'm looking at my first page and my first sentence, and I know that the first step would be to make dough. So I'm going to add, in place of first, I'm going to add step 1. Moving on to the second page, or the next step, this would be step 2. And so in place of next, I would put step 2 on to step 3. So in place of then, I can use step 3. And for my last or finally, I can use step 4. So here's my final story. And I know that you can add more details when you go through and edit it in the next part. First, make dough. Use a rolling pin. Next, put sauce and cheese. Add pepperoni. Get cutter. Eat with a friend. So on our next video, we will go through and edit our story and maybe even add it to the bigger paper so we can add more pictures and more details. I hope this storyboard lesson was helpful for you, and I can't wait to hear about your stories of how to make a pizza. See you next time. Bye-bye.